How's it going, guys? Welcome to the TwoPennyGames Piggy Bank, our casual gaming podcast with my casual gaming buds. My name's Phil. I'm your host for this show that we record live over on twitch.tv/TwoPennyGames every Monday evening, afternoon, Central Time. You know, catch us, get your notifications on twitch.tv/TwoPennyGames, and you can catch us when we're live. Of course, if you can't catch us live, we do post this video that we record every Saturday at 8 a.m. Central. Unless Tavin forgets, you know, throwing a little shade at him.
I haven't done that in like 3 weeks. Calm down.
But it happened.
I know. I'm just messing with you. I'm just palling around. Of course, that voice that you heard was Tavin Bothel himself.
What's poppin', players? How we doing today? Very excited.
Really good.
To talk
And then
stuff.
across the table from him, you know him, you love him, Connor Elliott.
I am an amazing co-host. I have been criticized in the past for not looking at the correct cameras. I've become a god at it. I didn't even need to look at that. I didn't even need to look at the screen to know where it was pointing. I just knew. That's how good I've become, Tavin.
He's a god of
podcasting.
Just basic podcasting, you know?
He's had all the cheat codes for over a year, and still, you know, now he's getting it right.
That's what I do.
Of course, as I said at the top of the show, this is our casual gaming podcast where we kind of talk about just what we've been playing, a bunch of different video game topics in general. I didn't even mention it. I got a new chair from Secret Lab. It's a Titan Evo. It's got a little Batman symbol on it. It's really comfy. It's probably one of the most comfortable chairs I've ever sat in my entire life. That was not a brand deal, by the way. I paid very much for this chair.
We don't get paid.
But yeah, of course, stay tuned for our topic that we carried over from last week. We were supposed to do. We just got so carried away with all the different games we were playing, especially Marvel Rivals. Hopefully you get to play some of that tonight after we record, but that's just a maybe. Tavin gave me a hard maybe on that one. But this week we're going to be talking about the top. So we're talking about our top 100 PlayStation games, but we're only going to do the top 20 right now. We're piggybacking off of the IGN top 100 PlayStation games list that we thought was atrocious.
It was awful.
We thought there were some parts of the list that were valid, but I think the sincere majority of that list was just poor. Very, very poor.
Yeah, not the best.
They got the top 10. Well, no, they didn't get the top 10.
Yeah, they were all over the place.
5 right, top 6 right.
That's something, I guess.
There was some here and there that was like, oh, you know, number 58, that's suitable. Number 74, yeah, sure. And then of course number 1 being
some even like
Solid,
top 15. Okay, yeah, I guess sure, why not? You know, but
yeah,
Titanfall 2, huh? Mass Effect 2, huh?
The core issue we had with the list, for those that hadn't seen it, is that a lot of games that aren't associated with PlayStation were considered PlayStation games. And, you know,
but like,
it doesn't make sense sometimes.
You got to wonder, like, is that just an us thing? Like, I don't know if I have my finger that much on the pulse of, like, how the internet perceives this list of theirs. I haven't really looked into how people reacted to the IGN list.
Seeing as how games that were Sony games and PlayStation exclusive games were excluded from the list, you could have cut those out and filled those in.
We had one Spyro, one Crash. We had From Software games that were not necessarily associated with PlayStation on there. We had too many Metal Gears. Admittedly, too many Metal Gears. And even with that, the wrong Metal Gears. Metal Gear Solid 4, exclusive to the PlayStation 3, kind of the reason most people in the early years of the PS3 bought a PS3, not on the list.
Yeah, but...
What are we doing? But Phantom Pain was? What are we doing?
That's why we didn't like the list and why we're making our own. But as to Noretska in the chat, what kind of games do you play? Anything.
We can talk about that right now, can't we?
Yeah. What we've been playing. Me, myself, if you're not a frequenter of our channel, we do a TwoPennyGames game club where every month we play a video game that either one of us picks or we roll a wheel. We're just trying to build out a top list of like ranking video games that people
we're ranking all the greatest games.
Yeah, and we've been playing BioShock.
Well, some have.
So
some of us have.
I mean, I just finished it last night.
I've started it. I am what feels like closing in on half-ish way, Phil. You would be able to tell me I'm in the Arcadia section, the big greenery tree forest. It's getting poisoned. You got to save it. Section.
Where would I call that? I would say
I'm not half. I would say I'm not half yet, but it feels like after I get past this section, I'll be around half-ish.
You're probably about half.
Yeah.
How you doing, ordinary boy? Ordinary boy? Ordinary boy?
And ordinary boy.
And ordinary.
20. Thanks for jumping into the chat, of course.
And, Connor, where are you in BioShock, Connor?
How you doing in BioShock?
I haven't started it.
2 weeks left to play it.
That's no problem.
You know?
That's no problem at all. Why are you guys getting on my ass? You know what? I'm the only one here on this podcast who's beaten every single game on the book club. And I'm being... What's that? What did you say?
Without a job.
Yeah, before that, I played every single game on the podcast, every single game on the club, and I get questioned. Me? I should question you guys.
To be fair, I've also played every single game.
Oh, played.
You know, I've played them all.
Played.
And even the one... There was one that I didn't beat by review time, but then I did go back and beat.
Chrono Trigger?
No, I
Oh,
did not roll credits on. I did not roll credits on Chrono Trigger. But I played 20 hours.
That's the
of
only
Chrono
one that
Trigger.
I haven't played on the list.
What game?
Did you finish Alan Wake, by the way, Phil?
Oh no.
Yeah, you got to finish Alan Wake, and you gotta go play Resident Evil 4
And Last of Us.
He did Last of Us.
I did Last of Us this year.
Did Last of Us? Yeah.
I thought you only played like a big chunk of it.
No,
I didn't know you
did
beat it.
No, he did.
Oh,
no,
okay.
He did the whole thing.
I guess you didn't really
Did
have
the
much
damn
to
thing.
say because you knew what happened.
Well, does Phil ever have anything really to say?
Now's your time. You're right here, Phil. The speaker has just been put on your stage. No? That's how it goes sometimes.
Do a review of a
That'll
song.
be a little bit that the audio listeners won't get because they won't see my reactions.
Little shruggy shrug. Yeah, so BioShock, we're going to have that in the first episode of January, which is 2 or 3 weeks from now. So make sure you cue into that for all of our thoughts and opinions on that. We've played a little bit more of Marvel Rivals. Opinions are the same. You can see those in the review. Flash impressions video of that. Live on the YouTube channel now. And some of those have been broken out into TikTok/YouTube Shorts, so you can follow us on TikTok. I've finally gotten off my butt and done something with the TwoPennyGames Instagram account. So the Instagram TwoPennyGames is live. So if you like IG Reels, we're gonna start posting up over there. So make sure you follow us on Instagram. Link will be in the description down below. And then what else? Oh, Phil, we jumped into Helldivers 2, the new expansion or the new enemy type, the Illuminate. With a whole new battle pass and a bunch of new stuff in it. Phil, you and I have not played for several months.
Yeah.
And so I had a great time jumping in. I like the Illuminate. I don't know. I don't think I have a favorite between the 3 enemy types. I like the bugs. I like the robots, and I like I guess zombies is what you would call them, kind of. And yeah, the Illuminate, they're cool. They come with a brand new, of course, they come with new gimmicks and new things to learn, new enemy types to learn on every stage. You know, you have your swarmy enemy types that don't really matter so much, and then you have your secondary and tertiary types that are a little harder to deal with. So it was nice getting the feel of what works against these guys versus what did or didn't work against the bugs or the robots. So yeah, I like the I like the Illuminate a lot. I'm excited to jump in with more people, get a squad going so that we can see some of those higher difficulty enemies that get locked away under the hard and stuff. We were mostly playing on medium, so we got to see what are they called? The commander types, and then there's a jetpack guy.
Overseers.
Yeah, those guys are fucking assholes, Connor.
They got the batons, right?
They have a bow staff. They have which they can do a charge blast with and do a lot of damage to you that way. And then they also have shields and they can use. And you're like, motherfucker, you're a piece of shit. So yeah, it was fun to get in there. Their version of the what do you call them? The bases,
fire bases.
No, it's like the bugs had the holes in the ground.
Yeah.
The
hive or whatever you call them,
a
right?
hive point type thing. It's UFOs that have shields. So you need to like take the shield out and then throw a grenade into the hatch for that to work. That was a tricky thing that we had to kind of figure out there.
Might have killed ourselves with grenades a couple times.
Couple times. Hey, Helldivers is hard. It's hard, man. You forget how hard it is. You just remember the fun times of blasting enemies apart and stuff. But yeah, it's hard. So yeah, I was having a good time. I'm excited to get back, and it's great being able to step away and come back, because when you come back, there's like 5 new battle passes that weren't there when I stepped away. So like it's just a cornucopia of content right now, which I love.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed.
One of the benefits of not just playing it over and over again, diversifying.
Well, I mean, I think it works both ways. Is because if you're up on the latest and greatest, you can get right to the meat of the new stuff right away. And you already are familiar with all the old stuff that's there, and you have the tanks and the walkers, and now there's a warthog type vehicle in it. They also the planet that we're on for the Illuminate is much more city based. So like you actually feel like you're in an urban environment now, as opposed to like a lot of the Terminids and the what are the robots called?
Automatons?
Automatons.
A lot of the Terminids and the automatons were in just kind of like rocky, swampy terrains and like very like nature based. There wasn't a lot of like civilization. Here, there's a lot of civilization, and I like that, and it comes with its own batch of difficulties alongside that as well. It's just a good changes all around.
Urban warfare, rugged.
Some good variety between your different enemies you're fighting and where you fight them.
Yeah, I find it specifically difficult because now that there's like buildings and like city streets and cars and stuff, and all the cars can explode, so you have to keep an eye out on that. But it feels like, because there's like a bunch of alleyways now and so forth, it feels like to me like the horde is sneaking up on me more. So like I'll just turn around and there'll be 20 dudes right there, and I'm on me like immediately. I'll be like, where the fuck did they come from?
They also don't make the most noise, so like it's hard to kind of like sound whore and be like, oh, they're right behind me, so I gotta keep moving forward, right?
Yeah.
So
but I like them. They're tough. The stats I'm seeing on TikTok, I don't know if these are accurate, but the stats I'm seeing on TikTok is that Helldivers are dying ratio wise by a lot more than they have with the other two enemy types.
Ah, interesting.
So
more than the automatons, you would think would be the reigning champion in that, because of how busted Malevolent Creek was.
The stats of Mavalon Creek is there was something like, I think somewhere in the realm of like 25 to 50 Helldivers dying a second on Mavalon Creek. On Calypso, it's like 160 per second like are dying there. So I'm like, oh wow, that's fucking crazy.
We're expendable, boys.
I don't know where those stats were coming from. That's just where the
27 million Helldivers in 9 weeks on Malevolon Creek, and then Calypso claimed 27 million Helldivers in 2 days.
Damn. It's even crazier.
So we're dying.
Well,
anyways,
we have games.
Helldivers. All right, go play it.
Been a good multiplayer year.
It is, yeah, it really has.
I would say so. Yeah. Between Helldivers, Marvel Rivals,
Space Marine, Call of Duty, even
Call of Duty had a good year. Yeah, it's been a
Fortnite had that cool first-person mode.
Fortnite's been
people are loving the new Fortnite. People at work have been talking about it nonstop.
Yeah, I wish I was a Fortnite guy to where I could care about that. And you get to keep your skin. See, this is the thing. I should have just knuckled down and bought the Solid Snake skin. I should have just done it.
That'd be incentive for you.
At some point, Fortnite's going to take over all our lives, and it's going to be in every facet of video game.
It's going to be like it's going to be the new metaverse, right? Like there was that story.
100%. Yeah. So at some point, I'm going to need to. But anyway, should we get into our main topic?
Yeah,
let's get right into it. Let's build out our top 20 PlayStation games.
Right. So I have here, gentlemen, I have a doc, just a little Google Doc up. Phil, you can see it from where you're at. Let me pull it up.
Yeah,
I thought for a second
I'm looking at it.
You were already going to have 20 games put up, and it's going to be like Metal Gear Solid, Metal Gear Solid 4.
No, I figured the way we could do this is we could kind of go franchise by franchise. We're doing the first 20, the 1 to 20, because it's hard to start from 100 to 80. So I think 1 to 20, we'll just start with that, and we'll just kind of go through, I think, major franchises and so forth, and the certain entries that should probably be on the list. Of course, we're doing 20. Feel free to put in games that you know are going to get cut later, but just don't be a bitch if they get cut later type shit. So, does anybody feel strongly about any way we want to start? We can start with Metal Gear since Connor jokingly brought it up.
And it is a definitive Metal Gear, a Sony
There's
title.
at least one Metal Gear Solid in the top 20.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just
I say there has to be at least 2, right?
I think there's 2. And if I were to make a case, it's 1 and it's 3.
I would agree with that.
Oh, here, we're going to... Here, we'll go bold. Metal Solid. That. MGS 1 and MGS. Not an M.
I was like, is this some shorthand
you made
technique I didn't know
less
about?
than sign.
There we go. All right, Metal Gear Solid. Done. We can, and then we'll just kind of take it franchise by franchise, and then we'll slim it down when we're kind of at the extent of what we think the top 20 should be, and then we'll rank them.
God of War.
God of War.
Yes.
So definitely, this is kind of a hard one because there've been, I think 2 and 3, 2018 and Ragnarok would all be on the list somewhere.
Some in a top 100, I think all...
in the top 20, I think only one of them is in the top 20.
But that's why we're taking it by franchise first, right? So we can just break it down later.
Yeah, in top 20, I think if you're going to make a case for top 20, only 2 and 2018 are in the list. Just based off of impact, what they did, the legacy of each of them. Ragnarok, still a little too early to tell, and it was more 2018, even though I personally think Ragnarok is better than 2018.
No, I agree, but I just think when you think of PlayStation, I do think of God of War 2018 before I think of Ragnarok.
That cover is more iconic. That reveal trailer is out of this world. The effects are there. So God of War 2018 definitely probably in that top 20 conversation. I think we should go ahead and just for namesake throw 2 on there later, but it's probably gonna get cut later.
Yeah, because the thing I remember when these games came out, and I remember everybody was talking about how 3 improved upon every other God of War past what it came out.
That's not the fan sentiment. Fan sentiment is that they simplified mechanics and made them too basic. Is how they feel. 2 is the one that always gets lauded for sort of like early like PS2 level greatness in a set piece and scope and size and all of those things. We were able to, really pull that camera out, show you the scale of things and do crazy things.
Fair enough, but then that becomes the point of, is this list going to be heavily influenced by what gamers themselves, that population you're talking about, or just what was the most popular? Because 3 definitely took the cake in that
I kind of feel that way just through marketing, though. Like, I feel like the marketing of 3 was out of this world, and I think that's because of the success of 2.
Yeah.
So, but, again, either way, and I also think 2 is more influential than 3.
Like, influential in what sense? Clearly in terms of, like, paving the way for God of War 3, but
I think mainstream character action games kind of, like, Devil May Cry set the standard of what a character action game is, but God of War 2 kind of made it more accessible to the normies of the gaming audience, and I also think just Kratos as a character was really, really defined in 2 very well. A little bit in the first game, but I think he really found his footing in the second game.
Made his bones in that one.
Yeah, and then there's a lot of like plot twists in 2, so people like to lord it for narrative and so forth. I think the story of the original trilogy is kind of silly, but there's a lot of people who still contest to this day that the God of War trilogy has one of the best narratives or best stories in video games.
I don't have a whole lot to add. I've only played 3, 2018, and Ragnarok, so
I've only played 18 and Ragnarok, so I've
played them all.
Yeah,
all the main ones. Okay, where do we want to go from here?
All right, I'm going to say it. It's only one game, Bloodborne.
I
know you guys hadn't played it, but
just right.
Did
I do FromSoft? Do we need to talk about the other ones?
I think just to keep it consistent, we should put FromSoft on here.
Okay.
And then just underneath it, just put Bloodborne, because we can add more stuff later
if we feel it.
Yeah, Demon's Souls is the only one that's going to be on this list somewhere. Not here in the top 20, though.
Dark Souls not making it?
That's the thing, though. It's like, okay, are we going to be trying to focus on more PlayStation-focused titles? Or
Yes.
we're also going to go into platforming, multi-platforming.
I mean, there's going to be titles on here that are multi-platform, but they are they're more relevant on a PlayStation, and I think FromSoft's pretty much entire catalog is reflective of that. There are titles that are more important for PlayStation Legacy than others. I think Demon Souls kind of cheats its way in because people weren't. Demon Souls was a cult classic until the remake happened, and then it got blown up and turned into a big thing. But the legacy of FromSoft was already solidified before that remake happened. I don't think. I think all Demon Souls taught FromSoft is that they have something there, and they just need to figure out the formula. Dark Souls 1 was them figuring out the formula. Dark Souls 2 was them figuring out what to not add to the formula. And then, 3 is a coming back and going, okay, this is what it is. And they've been following that pretty much ever since.
They have been, yeah.
I agree with you. Bloodborne is the big boy. And I don't know if another FromSoft makes it into top 20.
No, I wouldn't say so.
I wouldn't say so. I think just for the case of adding it, to like put it on here visually, so we can like assemble the list later, we should put Demon Souls and Sekiro on here. So
I don't think Sekiro should be.
You don't think so?
No. It's Demon's Souls, isn't it?
It's demons, like they own the souls.
Oh God,
Demons.
That's a terrible name.
They didn't add an S. That's all they did. They did with an apostrophe.
Okay. Should we start knocking off some Naughty Dog stuff?
Yeah, that seems reasonable.
Want to start Uncharted or Last of Us?
Last of Us.
Last of Us?
Yeah.
I would make the case for both of them.
In the top 20?
Yes.
Or just put them on the thing?
I would make the case for both Part 1 and Part 2 being in the top 20 personally. Last of Us Part 2 probably, if push comes to shove, it probably would fall into the 20s to 30s, even all the way up to 35 maybe. But I would say Part 2 lives in somewhere in that 15 to 20 range.
I think the only issue with that is it has a lot of detractors. Obviously you can choke I
think a lot of those detractors don't know what they're talking about.
But that's the point. You can't just say oh, they don't know what they're talking about, because I personally loved all these aspects of it. Because to counter you out, I think the narrative doesn't do a proper job of what Last of Us 1 did and why it's not as cemented as that first game.
I think the Last of Us 2 narrative is more ambitious. I think it says more than what the first game said. It's inherently more divisive, so yeah, that is going to turn some people off. But I believe Part 2, like legacy-wise, will go down as another moment where Last of Us, a franchise, continued to free game developers to be able to tell stories that they couldn't tell before.
But so far, it hasn't really done that, and more so, it's kind of given Naughty Dog a lot of detractors. Partly for some things they do, particularly with Neil Druckmann. He's a Zionist, so that's already going to be pretty, divisive among many people.
Yeah.
And then that tied in with his games, plus the fact that people from a gamer perspective, have a lot of issues with it, regardless of how, because Last of Us 2 was
so many of their
over-exaggerated
issues
in
fall
terms of
so
hated.
flat.
A lot of them do, yeah. A lot of them do, but a lot of them also have some weight to them. To the point where it's like, top 20? I just don't think so.
Speaking as somebody who hasn't played it, my instinct is that if it is on the list, we put it at 20.
Can we put it? Can I just slap it on here and then we can return to this later?
Yeah, easy.
All right.
Yeah.
And then we kind of got to, before deciding what position it's in, have to fill out what we're talking about.
Sure.
Uncharted.
Yeah. So
I would say 2 and 4.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
Pretty easy.
Should we talk about pre-Uncharted Naughty Dog? Are any of those in top 20? Crash Bandicoot, Jak and Daxter.
I think Crash Bandicoot.
Not in top 20. Not in top 20. No.
Not even with Crash Bandicoot. How
if one of those two is in there, Crash is in there, but I don't know if he is. And even in that, Phil, you would have to tell me which one to jump to. It'd be 1 or 2, right?
It would probably be 2. Because my favorite's 3, but that's not the sentiment that's shared.
Yeah. We'll put I'll slap it on there for right now. I don't think any of the Jack and Daxters make it personally. Not top 20.
Not in the top 20. No, I would agree with you. None of them belong in the top 20.
We can talk Crash 1 and then back to that. I
mean, I said 2, but
Oh, Crash 2. You're correct. My apologies. I apologize.
It's okay if you just want to ignore what I have to say. It's fine.
Almost always I want to, but unfortunately I gave you a seat. So your input
it's my show, by the way,
is
so.
valid. Okay. Do we want to jump? Where do we want to jump to now? I'm starting to run out of
Insomniac.
Insomniac's a good one. We should do that one.
Yeah.
Okay. So the first one, when we talk Insomniac, I think the only ones that make it are either Ratchet or Spider-Man. When we talk top 20.
Top 20. So I'm gonna reach Going Commando for Ratchet. But even then, I'm hesitant because I think maybe it would hit 20. I don't know.
Not a C, Tavin. Ratchet. Ratchet and Bank. Going Commando. How are we feeling about Spider-Man? I would say 2018.
I would say 2018 also, but yeah, I
2018.
Yeah.
That had more splash.
But I agree.
But I would absolutely say 2018, yes. But my question again becomes top 20. I'm not sure. That's kind of the same place where I'm at with Going Commando.
I agree. But I think we'll get there when we get there. Spyro, I don't think is making the list.
Not top 20, no.
Resistance isn't making top 20.
Ghost of Tsushima.
That's a Sucker Punch game, but yeah, we still
Sucker
found
Punch.
I
didn't know if we were. Yeah, I was like, wait, did Resistance make it? Or I didn't know if Insomniac did. Resistance.
No, Insomniac did Resistance.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think Resistance is making top 20. What else did Insomniac do? Fuse. That's not making it. And yeah, I think Insomniac stops there.
It's definitely not Insomniac, but I don't know why I thought of Killzone.
That's
Gorilla. No.
Gorilla. That's Gorilla.
Is it Gorilla?
Yeah,
Is it Gorilla?
It's
Okay,
the
okay.
Horizon people. Yeah. Okay. So
I don't think we see a Gorilla game on this top 20 either.
No.
I think Zero Dawn is in that
Do you
conversation.
think so?
I think it's in the conversation. I think it's more than likely going to get cut by the end of this, but I think it's in that conversation. Surely
throw
over
Horizon on there, then yeah.
Surely over a Crash Bandicoot, I would say.
No way in hell.
No,
Horizon Zero
I
Dawn?
don't think so.
Yes,
That's not
Actually,
big.
maybe.
Zero Dawn.
Maybe.
Yes, Zero Dawn was huge. Zero Dawn was stupid big.
Not as much as Crash has been.
Zero Dawn sold like 30 million copies, dude.
Yeah, but at that point, it's like, well, sales numbers.
Now, a
What's more
lot of it was
marketable
like
to a large
console
people?
tie-in type stuff going on, but
Yeah.
like Zero Dawn was huge. That's why Sony keeps like pushing it forward, is because that first title sold bananas.
Sure, but even still, sales in terms of Crash Bandicoot, in terms of its importance, when you're talking about quality, of course, that's very subjective, but I don't think there's, as someone who hasn't played Crash, I don't think there's a massive, massive gap in terms of qualities. They're just very different games.
Well,
I think
as of 2024, I don't know specifically Crash 2, but you can see the hunger for Crash Bandicoot with Crash 4. Crash 4 sold 5 million. This is reporting April 12th, 2024. But that's not Horizon
Crash
numbers, but still.
I mean, it's good. It's good for Crash. That just tells you how
Crash.
that fan base of Crash, the new fans that they acquired with that remake trilogy and so forth. So yeah, we can return to that conversation later though.
Mm-hmm.
Sucker Punch, Ghost,
Yeah.
top 20.
Ghost, yeah.
And that's more because it's a solid game, but the reaction has been so positive. Even now, people hold it up very, very high.
Yeah, I this is another one where I'm not sure if it hits top 20. I could definitely see it in the 20 to 30 range, but does it break top 20? I'm not so sure.
I don't think it hurts me so much today. I don't think Infamous makes it top 20.
Yeah, I was gonna
Sly, I don't think it's making top 20. The closest we're getting is Sly 2, and I just don't think it's there. So I think Ghost is probably our most likely to be there, and I don't think it's going to be there by the end of this.
We all
Sucker
love
Punch-
Ghost of Tsushima, but it's
Oh,
just
we
not
all,
gonna be
yeah. We no. Listen, I'm a Sucker Punch fanboy. I can't wait for Yotai.
I would say
Yotei.
Whatever it is.
on the
Give me an
fighting game
Infamous remastered
side,
collection.
I'd say Tekken 3. Tekken
3
is potential. I don't know if it'll be in top 20, but it's the most popular Tekken. It's a very hallmark of a fighting game, and it's been the most lauded. I haven't played it, but
Street Fighter more of like an arcade thing.
yeah. And if anything, it's more Xbox.
Yeah, Street Fighter 5 was PlayStation exclusive, wasn't it? But that
No,
that-
4 was exclusive.
No.
5 was and when I think of 5, I think of the PS4 banner on top of it.
Fair.
But I'm not putting that game in a top 100 list.
No, because it had such a failure of a launch.
Yeah.
Jesus. So I'm shaking my desk all around. That's my bad.
Resident Evil.
Oh yeah, of course.
2 remake specifically.
Really?
Yeah.
Top 20? I'm going OG 1 and 2.
I'm with Phil on this one. 2 remake it gets more fanfare by every count.
Okay. I'm gonna put RE1
Mhm.
and then we can talk RE2 remake.
I don't know why don't you just put remake?
Buttons. Resident Evil Final Fantasy.
Oh yeah, of course.
Top 20.
Easy. Yeah.
I kind of feel it's only 7.
I think it's 7
yeah.
and 10.
And 10?
10.
I don't know.
That's
about
why I was
both of them
surprised
in
it
the
was
top
on
20 though.
I don't know. Yeah.
7 definitely.
7 is like a lock for
top 10. You said?
top 20.
Oh okay. Yeah.
7 is a lock for top 3.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
I would argue that. I'll put Final Fantasy
as
10
probably
here for right
the
now.
person who's the lowest on Final Fantasy 7 here. I would also probably say it belongs in top 3.
Yeah. What are we missing? Metal Gear, God of War, FromSoft, Last of Us, Uncharted, Crash, Ratchet and Clank, Spider-Man, Horizon, Ghost of Tsushima, Tekken, Resident Evil, Final Fantasy.
Devil May Cry. Would this be somewhere on here?
I don't think it's making top 20.
Not in the top 20.
Yeah, the only one that would be on there for being a PlayStation game. Well, no, that'd be 2 and 1 would be. The 3 and 1 would be.
Yeah.
considered there.
Yeah, and I don't see a top 20. We could argue maybe a top 50.
3 is a pretty amazing game.
Yeah, I would take your opinion for that.
Mm-hmm.
Man, it's so crazy how we just talked about Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts.
Oh, that's
God.
great.
hey, that's on you, Phil. You gotta be the one to push that. You're him.
That's what he's doing right now, Connor. Pushing that. Phil, I'd only go 2 here.
No, I agree.
I don't think you'd ever get a world where Phil disagrees with that.
That can no longer.
Uh-oh. Hello, Papui XD. Hello, gentlemen. I'm assuming you're a gentleman as well. Good on you.
Connor, Silent Hill 2?
Yes. Because of,
Yeah.
the importance of the old one
Yes.
overshadowing anything that the
Of
remake
course.
does.
Yeah.
Shadow of the Colossus?
Shadow
Yes,
Colossus needs to be
yes.
there. I'm gonna Ico,
Yeah. You probably put
Ico.
Ico on there as well.
and then I think Colossus is the only one that makes it top 20.
Oh, fair.
agree.
Yeah, I'm keep thinking in terms of the list as a whole rather than just top 20.
Okay, how many games do we have right now? Okay,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
Phil
9,
counted
10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21,
I think what else,
22,
though, 'cause we'll-
23. We have 23.
And remember, we can like change things as we make this
Of
later on
course.
down the line.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I
I'm
think
gonna-
things that I think things that get cut we should put somewhere else because they're going to be in that
Yeah.
20 to 40 conversation.
yeah.
I'm just gonna start listing off PlayStation franchises
Yeah.
for you.
Astrobot's too early.
Yep.
Indeed. Station.
What's the kind of game we don't play that would be in the
Yeah,
conversation?
I know that's what I'm trying to reach for right now. That I'm struggling.
I'm thinking like strategy sim
Gran
games.
Turismo, Ape Escape.
I think either of those make it into top 20.
No. Gravity Rush, Little Big
Nope.
Planet.
Little Big Planet is a conversation. It wouldn't make it top 20 for me, but it would probably be in that 20 to 40 range. The first one.
Medieval,
No.
Days Gone,
No.
Dreams,
Oh, no.
Fat Princess.
Persona.
Ooh,
Fuck,
yep.
yeah. Sona's gonna be in the top 20.
You're gonna
4
reach 4
and 5.
4 and 5.
I
yeah.
think 5 makes the cut.
5. I think I could see in the top 20. 4, I think belongs. I mean, I can't speak to it, so I'm not gonna.
I really can't. The biggest thing that puts 5 over 4 is the fan reception and the importance for the franchise.
Yeah.
It brought up to the next level. 4 did as well, though, from 3, but that step up to 5 was more significant in the grand scheme of things.
I mean, another thing we were just talking about, Helldivers. It's another one.
It's too soon as well.
Too soon.
Yeah,
Especially because it's all built up in modern times.
Yep.
How people take it right now. Years down the line, as well, as good as it is right now, people could kind of just be like, oh, that was a fun game at the time, and just forget about it.
So let's start talking generations of PlayStation here. So let's go all the way back to the beginning.
Let me get to the bottom of this list real quick.
Yeah.
So we talked Jack and Daxter, no. Jet Moto, no. Killzone, no. Knack, no. Loco Roco.
Loco Roco, no. Not top 20.
Motorstorm, Parappa.
All of these are like 50s to 70s.
Patapon, No Resistance. Returnal, no. Got Team Eco.
Whatever Housemarque's next game is might be in that conversation.
Yeah.
I don't think Returnal is.
SOCOM.
No.
Talk Sly Cooper, no. SingStar, no.
You imagine SingStar.
Siphon Filter.
I don't know enough about Siphon Filter to comment.
Twisted Metal.
I would lean no. Twisted Metal I don't think makes it. Not top
Uncharted
20.
we talked about. Until Dawn.
No, Until Dawn's gonna be.
Warframe. Look at that.
I think Xbox when I think of that, dude.
That was like a PlayStation launch title, though.
My dumbass is trying to remember what the fuck that is. Oh,
Warframe?
Yeah. I always imagine it on the PS4 as a PlayStation 4 launch, but I think it was multiplayer.
I think of it about Xbox One, so
Either way, it won't be here. It's
not gonna be here.
Well, it'll probably be on a list. somewhere,
GTA.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Vice City and San Andreas I could see being on there.
Yeah, the other ones are too multi-platform, so I think consider them.
Well, the GTA 3 trilogy is a PS2 like landmark.
Yeah, that's why those would be there.
So, but I think, Phil, what's the most I think only one makes it into the top 20 personally. The other two we can start talking about in the next 20.
I would say probably San Andreas.
It's either Vice City or San Andreas.
San Andreas.
Because that's when we start getting into which one was the third
prefer
one?
Vice City, but San Andreas is huge.
Also, it drove people to make a sex mod, which I don't think 2 ever, had that level of devotion.
You're talking about Hot Coffee?
Yeah.
That's just a deleted scene.
But people, came about through, modding, and people reaching into the files.
They found it in the game files is what happened.
Either way, they were looking. They were searching. They were scrounging. Now,
all right,
does that happen all the time?
Let's start reaching a little more third party, just because it was in the conversation on that stupid IGN list. Mass Effect doesn't make it. Dragon Age doesn't make it. Call of Duty doesn't make it.
No.
What else am I missing here, guys? We're missing something. Chrono Cross is PlayStation. Chrono Trigger's more of like an SNES thing, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to think major PS3 franchises, and I think it's just Uncharted and Last of Us just ran the gambit. Again, you could talk Little Big Planet if you want. Infamous, I wish, but it's not strong enough. I think PS3 stops there. I think we mentioned everything that needs to be mentioned for PS4.
Journey.
Okami.
Journey's a great one, Connor.
And Okami. I just don't know I wish I had more experience with Okami. I know it's well regarded, but
yeah, that's one of those I do want to get to before that new game comes out.
we have time.
We do have time.
Mhm.
We do have time. Final
Prince
Fantasy
of
we
Persia?
talked about. Prince of Persia.
I don't think there's any game that
I
really
don't think.
comes
Yeah,
in
I
there.
don't think any of them are making top 20. Sands of Time is the first one that would be there, even though it's not the
Oh,
best.
Tony
game.
Hawk's Pro Skater.
We kind of got to put that there. I feel.
One and two, yeah. Probably two
Two.
of those.
Yeah.
I don't foresee this making top 20.
We'll find that out. We'll find that out. Nice.
Holding that, Phil.
Which one? I'm sorry.
Tony Hawk.
I'm tabbed out. I'm sorry.
Don't worry about it. I got it.
You think you can rely on people, you know?
I'm looking at other stuff. I'm
He's
looking at stuff for the list.
PlayStation 1, I think, is our heaviest blind spot here in this conversation, but I still think when we're talking top 20, we nailed it. I mean, it's Metal Gear Solid and it's Final Fantasy 7 and it's
Yeah.
Do we put Bully on here?
not top 20.
No, I know. I'm just throwing it out there.
Red Dead Redemption 2? They rank that high. We should do that high, too.
Red Dead Redemption.
No.
Oh, in general, no. Red Dead 2 is
Red Dead.
not a top 20 PlayStation title.
Yeah.
One of the greatest games you can play on a PlayStation. But
Virtua Fighter.
Honors the Buck, stop at Tekken.
In terms of
Fighting games.
on the
Soul
PlayStation,
Calibur.
I feel like there's a Street Fighter that I'm not thinking of that was a PlayStation exclusive.
When I don't even think PlayStation when I think Street Fighter, I think of Virtua Fighter and
I only think
Soul
of
Calibur
I only think of PlayStation and Street Fighter with
and Tekken.
with 5, and that one, as we said before, not launch.
Let me find this out. This is all I'll need to look up to me decide.
Dead or Alive. I don't know.
It was okay. Well, wait a second. The platform. No, it's too multi-platform. I was gonna say Street Fighter Third Strike, but it was on PlayStation 2. It was on wasn't on PlayStation. Yeah, it was on PlayStation 2, arcade, Dreamcast as well. It's not enough of a Sony thing.
So just for visual purposes here, I'm just gonna start putting titles on numbers now.
Mhm.
All of these will
Onimusha?
change. I don't know if Onimusha's making it, unless you can give me it because from what I hear, the first one doesn't really stand the test of time.
I'm just scrolling at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, not Street Fighter.
Psychonauts. No. My cats are being annoying. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
Hot Shots Golf.
Golf is big for PlayStation. Golf is big.
Disgaea. I don't know.
No.
Ooh, Star Wars Starfighter.
Oh, maybe we should have a conversation about Star Wars and PlayStation.
Yeah. I think of the original Battlefront 2.
Yeah. OG Battlefront 2. Episode 1 Racer is more of a 64 title. Lego games. I don't think any of these are making top 20. And I wouldn't put either the Jedi games on a PlayStation list.
No.
KOTOR's an Xbox franchise if it's anything.
I was trying to find stuff for fighting games. Is this the list as it stands, or is that like just?
I'm just throwing shit in there.
Yeah.
Things are gonna move.
Yeah.
Things are gonna move. I'm just throwing shit in there.
3 games. I'm gonna look at PS3. I was scrolling through PS2 for a bit. We think of what do we think of when we say BioShock, right? Like we don't go PlayStation, Xbox. Yeah, that's what I thought. That was my brain was. I just didn't want to blurt it out.
That's why like Big Daddy being in PlayStation All Stars was like a fucking what? Why?
It was weird. Yeah.
What am I missing?
Borderlands, Assassin's Creed. No, those are Xbox.
Bloodborne, of course. Connor, how could I forget?
Because you didn't play it.
How do we feel about Batman?
No PlayStation. Like
Arkham City,
title.
I think of as a PS3 game, but it's too multi-platform. I think to really put it on any platform specifically.
Yeah,
And again, not
Dishonored and Dead
20.
Space. I think of Xbox.
Space, I think of PlayStation.
I
Could
thought
be
of
just,
Xbox
just where I
because-
played it, but like I also played Borderlands 1 on PlayStation. That's an Xbox franchise in my brain.
Another one that's too multi-platform to really say
Yeah.
it's on the list.
Agreed.
Right. Ninja Gaiden.
Right now. Ninja Gaiden, no, I think most of Ninja Gaiden stuff was more important on like SNES.
Okay. Heavy Rain. Not in the top 20.
Not in the top 20. Definitely needs to be in the conversation top 50 somewhere.
Same with I would say probably also with Detroit.
I wouldn't say Detroit. Heavy Rain was hallmark in terms of that style of game.
Yeah, kind of
Which
set
is-
the standard.
Which is, I think, what carries it more than anything else. Whereas Detroit, it's a fun game, but it's not doing
Well,
anything particularly.
at that point, we're starting to get like the Until Dawns of the world. Until Dawn is more important than Detroit because better game.
I think all three of the games, like of these like story, like you move the controller around, these type of games, they will end up on the list, just not in the top 20.
Agreed. Tekken 3 probably needs.
GTA 3.
We settled on San Andreas.
That's 3.
That's not 3.
No,
That's
it's
part of
not.
the 3 trilogy. GTA 3 is
There's
just
GTA
3.
3, San Andreas, and
you-
Vice City.
yeah.
I missed what. I
What
don't
do we
think Demon's Souls is making this
about,
list.
about fucking Hazelight. What do we think about any of those?
Nothing there. Not even PlayStation. That'd be the biggest.
They got their
conversation.
started brothers through the Xbox Arcade.
That's true. That's
and
true.
then every game since then has been multi-platform. I
Yeah.
think was a Way Out Xbox launch, or am I wrong on that?
It might have been. It was certainly on
I don't know
Xbox.
if it was exclusive.
Do we put Kingdom Hearts 2 down there?
It needs to go there.
Yeah. We'll rectify that, Phil. Don't you worry.
Yeah, that one
I
was
wasn't looking, but I'm glad you pointed it out.
that was offensive on that list. Is Kingdom Hearts in the 60s or whatever it was, 67 or some shit like
We
that?
could argue that it's not in
was-
the top
it
20
was in
here,
the
but
high to mid 60s. I remember.
That was ridiculous.
Yeah. All right. Let's
Um,
do-
Shadow of the Colossus.
Shadow of the Colossus needs to be in here. That's gonna move way up.
That's a game we don't think as highly of as other people do, but it's
you
going to be on the
can't-
list.
You can't
Yeah.
ignore it. You can't ignore it.
Agreed.
Oh, you misspelled Colossus. I saw that. I saw it before you
I've
bring it.
misspelled Colossus every single time I've had to spell it.
COLOSSUS.
Put Journey in there, and then I think the rest of them kind of need to start getting cut off here, unless I'm missing something.
I've now moved to the
abhorrent.
PS4. I'm done listing PS3 games.
I think we've gotten the PS4 is a catalog I know very intimately. I think in terms of top 20, we.
I don't think Zero Dawn deserves to be in the top 20. I don't think that has as much
I
power.
don't necessarily disagree with you, Connor, but I think in the greater PlayStation library, I think it has a place in terms of like
I think
when
when
people think of PlayStation, it has a place there.
I think the most substantial thing being sales and company pushing of the game.
Well, it's also
doesn't make it top
it's a
20.
quality.
Oh,
video
it is.
game. It's a very well quality video game. It belongs in the list before Ghost.
No.
Yeah.
No, I'd say Ghost of Tsushima
No,
is
it
better.
absolutely does.
It's better.
The
A better
marketing-
narrative, better gameplay, moment-to-moment gameplay.
The marketing
Right, but
of Horizon, the image
This
of
list
Aloy
isn't
with the
purely-
bow.
This list isn't purely the quality of the game; it's the impact that it has in terms of like when you think of PlayStation, this is what you think of.
But Ghost of Tsushima had a high level of fanfare, as well as being more critically lauded than Horizon Zero Dawn was.
I don't think that's true.
I mean, it's definitively true. It was Game of the Year contender.
So was Horizon.
Horizon Zero Dawn
Horizon.
was like one of those games that there was other choices that we could have picked.
2017? No. like there are better games in 2017 than Horizon Zero
for-
Dawn, but it belongs in that conversation.
For Connor, Nier Automata.
That's not a top 20. I struggle to even put that in the PlayStation list.
Yeah, that's my main issue. It'd be in,
What?
If you want to make a case for top 30 all time, we can have that conversation. But that I don't think is that a PlayStation game?
In a PlayStation game? Yeah,
That's
it's a PlayStation exclusive.
Was it?
I don't think it was.
Yeah.
Oh, it was on PC.
PC, yeah.
Oh,
And this was before it was all like PlayStation was putting games on their PCs all the time.
Who published that game?
Platinum Games. No, published is by Square Enix.
That's I was gonna say that, but I didn't want to sound too stupid. Persona 5 needs to be.
It was also on Xbox One.
a year after.
Yeah, fair enough.
Sure. Tomb Raiders. Do any of the old Tomb Raiders go in here? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. No.
That they're cool in like the 30s and 40s, I think.
Mhm.
I'm gonna go ahead and get Demon Souls out of here, Connor.
Yeah.
I put God of War 2.
You did.
We're not gonna even think about putting 7 remake anywhere near here. No.
Not here. Not
Okay.
here.
Okay.
It's too. There's too much impact.
Okay. Just asking.
Titles.
Quality it would be.
Quality. Oof, you're gonna struggle to find 15 games better than 7 remake and rebirth.
Yeah.
I put Tekken 3 in there. I put both the Resident Evils in there. I put both the Final Fantasies in there. Silent Hill 2 needs to go in there.
Mhm.
I'm gonna cut Persona 4. Not for top. We're gonna revisit Persona 4 next time.
Oh, I imagine.
Next time.
Many of these games we will be. Well, a couple.
One thing I do think IGN got right is if Silent Hill 2 is in the list, it's at 20. Okay. I think from the ones we listed out,
I feel about Destiny and Destiny 2 not in the top 20. Yeah.
No. Journey's in there. I don't think Okami's making top 20. Okami was one that like critically everybody adores and loves and is phenomenal and is a little ahead of its time, if we're being honest.
Beautiful as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Even to this day, you can look at that game and be like, wow.
Yeah, and it was before like mainstream artsy ass games were like super mainstream. Like you had a couple of examples of it, like your Shadow of the Colossus and so forth. But yeah, I think if Okami came out 10 years ago as opposed to 20 years ago, not that long ago. That game come out
like 2006, 2005.
Oh damn, we're getting there.
I remember seeing this on X-Play and being just like stunned. I was like, oh my god, this is beautiful.
Yeah,
most beautiful game I've ever seen.
I don't know if I don't know if that like mainstream punch was there.
No, that's the big thing that's holding it back from the top 20 position.
Yeah. Do we need to put? Do we? All right.
That's 6. Yeah.
Do I need to? Can we cut Tony Hawk right now, or do we need to have that conversation?
The problem is it's a very particular type of game that's gone off as well as it has off quality alone.
I feel like Tony Hawk belongs here.
Okay.
None of us have. Who's played that? I played it like back in the day, but
I played the I played that like
I
remake
played
/
4, but it's
combination
big.
thing that they did on Xbox 360, where it was I think it was like maps of 1, 2, and 3. And then they'd kind of like unified art style and like a weird game. I'm not talking the 1 and 2 remake that just happened a few years ago.
Yeah.
This is before then.
And you were saying, Phil, you played it back in the day? It was.
I did play 2, but my time with Tony Hawk Pro Skater is primarily 4.
Oh, okay.
We need another one of those.
Tony Hawk's?
Tony Hawk's.
It's not happening. Didn't the studio get like shifted to something else?
Yes. I want to say that's correct.
Yeah, I think it was
but I
something
also
stupid.
think Tony Hawk said something at some point recently.
He could have.
Within the last year or two, he said something. Could be wrong though.
All right.
We'll see if that Skate 4 ever happens.
So this is we've gone through all like the whole list and put them all on numbers. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. And then we've cut the ones that we are pretty sure aren't going to make it finally. So if we want to start digging in here,
Chopping the fat.
damn, we are almost at an hour.
We're good. It will be. I think this will be the easier part.
I hope so.
I also hope so.
So
So I'm actually kind of rocking with this top 3 that we have, even though it's not necessarily like in order.
7.
God of War, I think, comes down for something else, whether it's Last of Us 1, Bloodborne, or Shadow of the Colossus.
I think number 3 is Bloodborne, number 4 is Last of Us, number 5 is Shadow of the Colossus. Any back chat
I'm
on
gonna
that?
I'm gonna throw that down just so that we can look at it.
It's always good to look.
As a top 5, I'm not mad at this. I would probably argue Last of Us over Bloodborne. Connor, fight me on that. Are you gonna fight me on that one?
Bloodborne technically is a more fun game to play.
Yes, but in terms of PlayStation legacy, I mean, come on, it's The Last of Us. And I would say Last of Us is more replayable.
Only because it's shorter, not because the game lends itself to it as much.
And I think Last of Us's story, just kind of is just a trump card for most video games. Mm-hmm. And it's not even though I'm of the camp that I think the first Last of Us gameplay is aging kind of poorly, it's still fun to play.
Yeah, and I've always been in that camp as well.
And that factions multiplayer?
Sick. But I can't really attribute it to this just because it's dead. It's gone.
It's not dead. People still play it.
Didn't they shut down the servers? That was the whole thing
on the PS3.
Oh.
But the remaster on 4 still going.
No, it wasn't the whole thing with the remaster is they didn't have them? No, they did. They did.
No, they did in the remaster.
That was the resurgence.
Yeah, it was the last remake that they did.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
you didn't put Colossus on 5.
Oh, is that what you said?
That is what I said.
Oh, okay.
Bill thinks we just kowtow to him on everything. Why do you think you deserve that?
I mean, what he said so far, I'm not mad at.
And you said you were going to put it down, so.
You know what, Tavin? I'm going to sell this right now. When we play Bloodborne, it is going on our game club to rank higher than The Last of Us.
You think so?
Yeah.
But that list isn't about PlayStation legacy.
Which is why, because of Bloodborne's biggest problem.
Okay. No, see, Connor makes a good point there.
He does.
Yeah. Bloodborne had the biggest issue with sales, and part of it was because it was so exclusive. But that works against it when we're making a top 20 PlayStation list because PlayStation wasn't enough to carry that in a higher echelon than it otherwise I think would have with multi-platform. Whereas Last of Us, it had the splash it did, being on the PS3 as well initially, which was, it was one of the big consoles, no doubt, but it kind of kickstarted the whole entire heavy emphasis on narrative, which regardless of whether you find that to be an overall positive or negative for the industry, as well as the hyper-realism, which was already kind of coming into play by that point, but it really shot it further ahead. Though regardless of how you criticize those things and their impact, they had impact rather than the specifics of those.
I from what I caught, because I was also busy editing the list, but from what I caught, I agree with everything you said there. Okay, so do we want to lock this as our top 5 right here? Metal Gear Solid, Final Fantasy VII, Last of Us, Bloodborne, Shadow of the Colossus. We can have a conversation about Metal Gear Solid versus Final Fantasy VII. Do we want to do that now, or do we want to do that at the end, or do we think it's fine MGS being over Final Fantasy?
I think it's fine being over.
I'd put that conversation at the end. Well, if Phil thinks that way, we'll have the conversation now, since I'm the only one that would argue against it. Makes sense for Metal Gear Solid 1.
I'm in the middle.
You're in the middle? Yeah.
I'm in the middle.
My big thing is Final Fantasy, both of them are high-quality games. Both of them have pretty great stories. I think Final Fantasy VII is more concise in its narrative, even though it doesn't take as many, it doesn't take as many chances. It doesn't go into new territory.
I think it's the other way.
I'll tell you this right now, Connor. Concise is one of the last things I think about when I think about Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah. I think you've got that backwards.
Opposite of concise.
I think the overall, well, I see what your points are. But even further than that, I think the gameplay was better in Final Fantasy VII, and I feel like people kind of consider that more so as well, seeing as how the model of Metal Gear Solid can't really be replicated as much, whereas the battle system of Final Fantasy VII continues to stay alive now and was helped along even then.
Yeah, I'm not mad at any of those points. I just think of when you talk impact of those games and the legacy of those games, it's the actual impact of them is clearer with Metal Gear Solid. We know exactly what Metal Gear did. We know why it did it. We know why people cared. There is, as much as the Final Fantasy conversation is also important when you start talking about story, narrative, combat, the beginnings of 3D games and so forth, and how it looks to have a world of that size presented in 3D. A lot of that art really doesn't hold up anymore, and I think Metal Gear Solid 1 also looks old, but I think it's got a better, more unified art style that kind of helps it age better. And on top of that, as much as, fans don't like to admit it, at the time, there was probably a large portion of that audience who did not play, who did not finish the game. Or who got lost, or who didn't know how to continue past Midgar. I bet you there's a sizable percentage of players of that game, I'm talking in 1997, that probably didn't even see Aerith die, just because of how complex that all is. Pretty easy to get through Metal Gear Solid.
That's true, but once again, that kind of lends itself to the type of game it is in terms of playability. And Final Fantasy VII isn't exactly a high bar of like, this game's really hard to get through in terms of where you go and what you do.
I agree with you from a real gamer perspective, but I think if someone picks up a controller and for the first time today plays Metal Gear Solid or Final Fantasy VII, I bet you they play Metal Gear Solid for longer.
Today?
Yes.
I think I think potentially debatable.
I think I think there's more novelty, quote unquote, in playing Final Fantasy VII, but I don't think you're making it past Midgar with an average gamer today. I think the average gamer today would pick up and see Metal Gear Solid to the end through the credits.
I think that more lends to the fact that Metal Gear Solid
is shorter, but I'm saying
shorter,
I don't even think average gamers today get through Midgar.
Well, even shorter, but also presented in a way that's very palatable for especially Western audiences. It's like we're gonna base it around like a movie, and that immediately gets way more people on board just because of your storytelling style, which is only really particular to Kojima in the way he does it.
But again, I think if we talk PlayStation Legacy, Metal Gear Solid. Oops, didn't mean to throw my pen at you. I apologize, sir.
You threw it
Metal
at
Gear
her.
Solid being able.
No. Apologize to her.
I'm sorry.
Doll from Bloodborne.
Doll from Bloodborne.
There we go.
Made me lose my point. This is your debate strategy. You're going to distract.
You just insulted somebody.
In terms of PlayStation Legacy and being able to quantify it for each game, it's easier to do that for Metal Gear. It's easier to be like, oh, the story, the narrative, the characters, Shadow Moses, Solid Snake, Metal Gear.
Yes.
As opposed to Final Fantasy VII, it gets a little messy because you're talking the legacy of a franchise with 16 plus entries in it. What specifically did 7 do that 6 didn't do? What specifically did 7 do that 9 and 10 didn't do? Right? If the big landing point is, oh, we killed the princess, I don't think that holds as much water as Metal Gear Solid does. It's coming. Hold on, let me say. I believe Final Fantasy VII is a better overall quality game than Metal Gear Solid, but I think if we're talking a top 20 PlayStation list, I think Metal Gear Solid goes above.
But even to that point, you touched on Aerith's death. That's more of a landmark moment than anything Metal Gear Solid 1 does.
I disagree.
People's Aerith's death, people still think about that as like one of the key moments in video game history.
It is. It undeniably is. I think the opening 20 minutes of Metal Gear Solid rival it.
Quick point, real quick. I think of the death screen for Metal Gear Solid more than I think about Aerith's death. The snake,
all the quotables, the quotables. Psycho Mantis, like the Metal Gear itself, the Cyborg Ninja, like all of these things.
Also,
all of these things mean more than Sephiroth.
Sound. Hello.
What now?
The alert sound.
Yep.
Yeah, but when we're going to get into those things, Final Fantasy VII's music, its victory theme, and all of its sound effects as well.
Oh, I think the victory theme is the only thing that stands toe to toe with.
I'm not.
The Metal Gear Solid
unique
memorabilia.
To Final Fantasy VII.
What's that?
That's not unique to Final Fantasy VII necessarily.
But that chime was what made it stick in people's heads. It was that
but
particular.
I was gonna say before you brought up the victory theme, I was gonna say that. While Final Fantasy VII's music, while Tavin is saying it's iconic, and I agree with you, it is iconic, but it's not as engrossed in pop culture as some of the smaller things in Metal Gear Solid. Like the alert sound is used in like a ton of different memes. People recognize it immediately, whereas people aren't making regular videos with editing in Final Fantasy VII music in the background, right? Like
I struggle to bring memes and pop culture into the conversation because we are talking about PlayStation Legacy. But I don't think it's like worth not like not talking about.
Ignoring,
I just,
right? Like,
I don't know if that. I don't want it to be a major factor.
No, it's not. I'm just saying. I'm saying that is a factor.
I need to ask because I have ignorance on this. The victory theme in Final Fantasy VII for battles and stuff, was that before Final Fantasy VII? I know it's happened after Final Fantasy VII, but was it before that? Was it in 6 and 5?
Yeah, but it was always different.
I know they've always been kind of different, but that same melody was in there.
Yeah.
Okay. In that, I think Final Fantasy just being the major, long-lasting franchise that it is, prolific franchise that it is, starts working against itself in direct comparison to Metal Gear Solid specifically.
Yeah.
I also think you're going to disagree. I think the cover art is more iconic when you think, or let me rephrase that. The cover art of Metal Gear Solid is more tied to the PlayStation 1 than the Final Fantasy VII thing is. All of these
No, I would absolutely agree with you.
All of these things that I've said sound crazy when you say them out loud, but we are talking about number 1 and number 2 here.
Yeah.
So, it's just a matter of that.
Yeah, I don't see that in any way, shape, and form. Describe to me the box art. Phil, not you. You'll know.
You want me to describe you the box art? It's like the white, gray, like almost holographic looking like Snake's face, like with the Metal Gear Solid. No,
that's the title screen.
And here's the thing, I couldn't tell you what the box art is.
The box art is a very simple white background with a red Metal Gear Solid logo on it.
I thought about what you thought about it too, Phil.
Box art?
That's the box art.
I mean, I still think Metal Gear Solid belongs at 1, but I don't know.
It's the iconic looking up at the cool perspective, cool use in the game itself. Also, just nice looking image.
Yeah,
but that's an aside point. My big thing was of what it took to make Final Fantasy VII. On the front of, you talked about the 3D graphics and whatnot, but I can't remember the exact amount, but the original plan for it was to be on like the N64, I want to fucking say. One of those consoles with the cartridge.
That was it. Was if I know my history right, they were going to go to the N64.
Yeah.
But they couldn't even really start development because of the cartridge limitations.
Yeah. And they were going to have to use a bunch of them. That was the original plan. Like they were doing the thing.
God, that would have been so expensive.
Exactly. Which is why it pushed the power of what PlayStation is capable of, I would argue even to this day, of being a powerhouse. Because even though they had to split it on 3 separate discs, they were able to make a game of this size work. In the same exact way they made the soundtrack work. Because I again, quote me on this later, I might be wrong, but the One Winged Angel soundtrack, I believe was the first time vocals were in any soundtrack in a game. Obviously, they had like in dialogue before, but it was the first time they used it in the music of a game, which was, I know, like back then it was hard.
I know that's true for Final Fantasy as a franchise. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's true with the games in general. Metal Gear Solid came out in 96 or 97.
The first one?
Yeah,
99.
No.
Yeah, Metal Gear Solid 1.
No, that's not right.
Maybe 8.
But
yeah,
I think it was 8.
Yeah, I might have been super confident that it was 1998. Yeah, so 1 year later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's make a choice here.
Yeah.
I'm leaning that Metal Gear Solid 1 goes at number 1.
Yeah. I'm leaning that way too. Just like I really do think it's easier to quantify the legacy of Metal Gear and its lineage to PlayStation easier than Final Fantasy. And with that, I think because Final Fantasy is just so old and so prolific, it starts working against itself when we have this conversation between the two games.
Well, so it is decreed.
Now, does Final Fantasy VII need to go above The Last of Us? Let's have the conversation. No, I'm fine. Okay.
Let's have that conversation. Ask the question.
I don't want
soundbite.
No, I'm cool with Last of Us being a 3 here.
Oh, know what we need to do? We need No, real quick, you were on something here. We should cut that out and then market it to the people that hate Naughty Dog and Last of Us, and then there you go. Engage them. Say it. Come on, say it, Tavin. Say it.
We got to get somewhere here. I think Final Fantasy X goes.
I agree.
I mean, I'm not the biggest defender of it.
Okay.
But it's compared to the
we
rest
mentioned
of the
it, we talked about it.
Yeah.
I I think there was another one I was looking at that I think needs to go.
I think Ratchet and Clank goes. It hurts my heart to say, but I think it goes.
I agree with you. I also think that Red Dead goes.
We didn't have.
We didn't even put Red Dead here.
I was sorry. I saw RE2R instead of RDR2.
Got it. Resident Evil 2
it.
remake. Yeah, I agree with you. I think that goes for top 20 conversations. I'm gonna fight tooth and nail for Resident Evil 1.
I'm not gonna disagree. I think Tekken 3 probably goes unless Connor has something to say.
I think we put that on the back burner. I think we need to start having conversations about Ghost, Horizon, and Last of Us Part 2.
Honestly,
I think all three of those go before Tony Hawk goes.
I would argue,
goes on the list before Tony Hawk goes on the list. So I'm really saying Tony Hawk we should probably cut.
I don't know if I agree.
Yeah. Part of it's like that, like you have to realize it's also about a diversity of games. Because at a certain point, if we're just going to do like Ghost of Tsushima and Horizon Zero Dawn, which are very good games in their own right, Tony Hawk was like a pillar of PlayStation in the earlier days. You know, not before it was cemented and already had tons of games coming out.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Mm-hmm. You're not wrong. Tony Hawk was in McDonald's.
Yeah.
You know? When McDonald's had video games.
Oh, I loved that time.
I'm gonna now you might disagree with me, Tavin, but I think either 2 or 4 of Uncharted need to go.
I think 4.
I think 4. I'm leaning 4 also.
Legacy wise, level of importance, impact, probably 2 goes over 4. I just think I think we need to have a conversation about both open world games before we start talking about the Uncharted.
I just don't think they deserve to be in the top 20 among some others that are core to the PlayStation, to PlayStation. From what we have right now. Maybe you can make an argument for Journey, but
I'm struggling to keep Journey here too.
I would take Journey out.
I'm in agreement with. I think Journey should go. I think Journey is like maybe top 30 or 40, but you know.
I'm also starting to look at God of War 2.
I was also looking at God of War 2.
He doesn't have the staying power that some of these other games have.
That's another one that I could see top 30 or top 40 maybe.
25 maybe. That's where I was going, but we'll get there. I mean, okay, so we're at 20 titles now. So. We're at 20 titles now. So now we're working within the realms of these guys.
So we'll go back from the top.
I'm gonna start the bidding right now. Kingdom Hearts 2 is at number 20.
No. Goes higher.
It's higher?
Goes higher. Yeah.
Kingdom
Hearts goes above Tony Hawk, goes above Silent Hill.
Goes above Last of Us Part 2.
We can have that debate when we get there.
Compare it, think detractors of Last of Us Part 2 and detractors of Kingdom Hearts 2.
So what do we think? Kingdom Hearts 2 15?
Okay, so we have the top 5 locked. Let's see if we can lock the bottom 5 here.
Okay, yeah.
Bottom 5? Okay.
I'm putting Silent Hill 2 below Tony Hawk.
I would put that as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that kind of flies in the face of what I said 5 minutes ago, but it is what it is.
Just so you know,
Persona 5 needs to come up out of the bottom 5.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'll give you just bring it up.
Quick thing they might do is just highlight it and then move it.
I don't know if you can do that.
I
don't know if I have the brain power.
Then you can just swap those.
That'll work.
Okay, back down to it.
Okay. Kingdom Hearts 2.
GTA's got to go higher.
You think so?
Yeah.
I think GTA's in a good spot. I don't know. I think it belongs. I think bottom 5. I think the top 20 is good.
I think struggling. I keep forgetting the thing. I think Ghost and Horizon need to come down.
I agree. I just think it's going to be like pulling teeth to convince Connor that Horizon Zero Dawn belongs above Ghost.
Well, I make the argument Zero Dawn doesn't deserve to be in the top 20. Best that PlayStation has to offer.
What have we cut that you're putting above Zero Dawn?
What did we cut?
Final Fantasy X, Demon Souls, like
no, but God of War 2, I would put over it.
That's a debate I'm willing to have. That's a debate I'm willing to have. I just think if you're gonna fight for Ghost, Horizon needs to be there because personally, I think quality of game. I think they are about the same. I think Horizon has a slight edge in quality of game.
Quality?
Yes.
I wouldn't say that. When you have like a whole other side of enemies that you fight in the game that are pretty bland and boring and not good side quests, side content, like the fighting the dinosaur is super fucking sick. Unfortunately, that's not what it's entirely diving into. I remember fighting waves and waves of boring enemy.
Yes, but well, I was about to say traversal and Zero Dawn is better, but
the only thing that
damn, you really got me with the enemy thing because fighting humans in Zero Dawn does suck.
Yeah. If it was just dinosaurs, I'd have less
Ghost is more generic. I think it's stiffer to play. I need to revisit Ghost because it's been a while. But I just remember like early hours having problems with interacting with the open world, and I don't remember having that issue with Zero Dawn. I also think just like conceptually, Zero Dawn is way cool.
Conceptually, sure, yeah. I mean, but even beyond that, narrative is better in Tsushima. Character is better. Aloy kind of bland. There's no character that's good.
The character story of Jin is better than the character story of Aloy. The overall plot and narrative and everything that's going on, I think, is better in Zero Dawn.
Sure, I'll give you that. But the real punch of that, I think that's more tied up in concept. The punch of the narrative comes in at the very, very end, as opposed to the entire game.
Let's refocus on our bottom five here. So Silent Hill 2, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, Kingdom Hearts
it's coming up.
Does GTA come up?
Down.
I agree. Last of Us Part 2 needs to come down.
I can't argue for GTA that much. It's just my perception of it being like the pillar of GTA, like one of the most famous. Control Z, and then
enter.
Yeah. I'm totally fine with. Okay. All right. Well. All right. Okay. Let's have the. Okay. I think it's gonna come down to it. Kingdom Hearts. What goes below
it? How are we raising
Kingdom Hearts. I want to put Kingdom Hearts at 15 below Last of Us Part 2.
I don't think you have the same level of importance with Last of Us Part 2 than Kingdom Hearts 2.
I think you're overrating the importance of Kingdom Hearts.
About
that. What did you say, Phil?
I said I'm not going to yell and scream about that.
Yeah, I think you're overrating the importance of Kingdom Hearts.
I think you're kind of overrating the importance of Last of Us Part 2. It has too many haters. And I don't think it's...
I think that's part of the conversation, though. It started more conversation than Kingdom Hearts 2 did.
It started conversations of how the game story doesn't hit. Not how it's like amazing.
You can not like it and call it woke and all this other bullshit that I think totally falls flat under actual critique and not speculation. Looking at it, introspection, and type shit. But what is the narrative and story of Kingdom Hearts 2? It's nonsense. It's ridiculous. Now I contest that Kingdom Hearts should be an abstract franchise thematically and all this shit. We've had that conversation on the podcast before. You can check it out later. It's on the it's a breakout. But yeah, I just don't believe when you talk PlayStation, Kingdom Hearts is as powerful as a franchise from any entry as The Last of Us. Specifically Last of Us Part 2.
Connor's the only one that's defending it, so.
Yeah. I think Kingdom Hearts had a time and place. And it was in the era that it came in.
Its place is multi-platform, but it is originally
because it's the only way that they can financially make it work. Okay. GTA.
I think that's fine right there. Maybe below Tony Hawk, but no, not GTA.
It definitely goes above Tony Hawk.
Yeah.
I think it needs to come above the open worlds here.
I agree. I was going to say that. I think it belongs at the new number 16, and I think that Ghost should replace it at number 18.
I agree with this.
If you guys want to do the The industry plant will do that.
I knew. How did I know you were going to say that?
Because it is.
I want to put the industry plant there.
It is. It's only got as much weight to it because it had a lot of copies sold, and that's it. It has no real impact beyond just making a lot of money.
You cannot deny that it's one of the first things you think of when you think of PlayStation. You cannot deny that.
Again, not because the viewers, the gamers said, well, this is so amazing, we have to talk about it all the time. It's because PlayStation wants to keep making money off of it.
When I think of PlayStation 4, Horizon Zero Dawn is probably of the first 3 franchises I think of, and it's the first new IP I think of. When I think of what was new on PlayStation 4, I think Horizon Zero Dawn first.
And I think that's what gives it more credence again, is it's the first new game, whereas the PS4 had lots of continuations of games.
Yes. But, I mean, in that conversation, if you think PlayStation 4, you think God of War, you probably think Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And then now you have the argument of Horizon, Last of Us, or Uncharted to me. And I think Uncharted in terms of what you think of when you think PS4, I think Uncharted 4 falls below Horizon. Last of Us Part 2, I don't know. Yes and no.
I don't think you've made any good points to that front, but again, so it shall be decreed.
I think you're fucking stupid, but fine.
I think Uncharted 4 needs to move down.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I forgot we still had Uncharted 4 in this.
Yeah, because we
this needs
got
to
rid
come
of other stuff that you.
This needs
were
to probably
talking
come
about.
way down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think below Kingdom Hearts 2.
That was my first thought as well.
Yeah.
GTA.
I think it goes below GTA San Andreas as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
That damn legacy.
Yeah.
That goddamn legacy.
This bottom 5 is almost perfect.
Yeah.
Hmm?
Yeah. Let's have a talk about Tony Hawk Pro Skater and Ghost in Horizon.
I think it's good there. I honestly like where this list is at. The only thing that I'm iffy on is I know nothing about Tekken 3, so
it's stalwart in terms of fighting games.
Yeah. Now let's talk our middles here from I think God of War stays. I think Spider-Man might need to come down.
Yeah, I think it does.
But where?
I would put it
I think below,
and we might need to have a conversation about Snake Eater coming down.
Mm-hmm. To a degree, yeah.
Yeah.
I think Uncharted. Oh no, what was I saying? Spider-Man. I'd say I'd put that above Tekken 3, where it's at right now.
Above Tekken 3.
Yeah, solely because Spider-Man hit that was a big generational moment, and people still
but
refer to those
above
games.
or below Persona 5.
I think Persona 5.
Persona 5 is above Spider-Man.
Okay. Yeah,
oh,
so then
wait. Now I gotta think about that.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on.
It's close.
It's close.
Mm-hmm.
I think Persona as a franchise means more to PlayStation than. Fuck, you can't even say that because goddamn it, fucking PS2 copied Spider-Man font. It's the weird thing of separating Spider-Man the game and Spider-Man the character, the legacy, the comic book, the movies. It's hard to do. Spider-Man is probably more popular than Persona 5, but Persona 5, a moment, man.
Mm-hmm.
Joker's in Smash, Spider-Man isn't.
That's because they got rules in Smash and follow them.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we respect it.
No, I think Spider-Man goes below Persona 5.
Ron?
I think we limit give in to Phil because he hasn't played. He's played 2018.
He's played the shit out of 2018.
Fuck. But he hasn't played Persona 5, and he's saying that. I would. It's so close in terms of its importance to PlayStation.
I agree.
I would err on the side of quality for me, but I do that all the time. So,
you know what? I'm gonna relent to quality this time.
And then I think I agree with that. We have to move Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater down. I think Snake Eater.
I think Snake Eater.
If I'm honest, I think it goes below Spider-Man.
I wasn't gonna go that low. I was gonna go below Persona 5.
No, I'm gonna go below Spider-Man here.
No,
But here's the thing. Here's what I'm saying. Here's my argument. Spider-Man 2018 as a PlayStation game is more important to PlayStation as a whole than Snake Eater is.
The moment is bigger.
That's the big issue because undeniably, from my experience with both games, Metal Gear Solid 3 is better.
Yeah.
And it was more important for Kojima rather than PlayStation. And as a narrative game and as a stealth game, but in terms of PlayStation, yes.
We're making some really good points here, guys. Yeah, making some really good points. Okay, well then let's have the conversation. Is Snake Eater above Tekken 3?
Yeah, I'd put it above Tekken 3.
Yeah?
I think the quality of it and the cultural
It sits
impact
right
of it
between there.
it's there above it. Yeah.
I don't want to hear no goddamn Metal Gear bias as an accusation thrown at me here.
I haven't. No one said that.
I was being very generous.
Literally, you're the person that's talked the least about Metal Gear on this episode.
I think that was I think the 1 and 2 conversation kind of takes me out of that, but yeah.
Phil, I think the biggest issue with Tavin is that he's an IGN shill by doing Metal Gear Solid 1 at the number 1 position. I think he did that ultimately because he wanted to show for him.
More at number 1 than he was.
But I think when it came down to it, he was thinking, you know what? I love IGN so much. They got it right. I'll limit to them.
I love IGN so much.
I think this is a almost like basically a perfect top 20 right here.
Resident Evil versus Uncharted.
RE1's coming up.
I think so too.
Again, PlayStation. Okay. Uncharted, close, but Resident Evil 1 has more staying power, even to this day, I think, than Uncharted 2 does. Uncharted 2, its splash was big.
Uncharted 2 is not aging well. And you can make the argument that Resident Evil 1 hasn't aged well either, but I think because it is what it is, like, we've gotten better versions of Uncharted 2. Mm-hmm. You haven't gotten better versions of Resident Evil 1.
No, yeah.
Other than Resident Evil 2.
I'm liking this list.
I'm just editing for visual is all.
For sure.
RE1 God of War 2018, that's close as well. I'm erring on the side of 2018 God of War solely because pillar community.
I was just about to do that, Phil.
Yeah.
You're a smart man.
Thanks, man.
But the of is lowercase in titles.
Yeah.
Articles, I believe they're called.
Now, this is Resident Evil 1.
Resident Evil, it's 2001, yeah? Oh, no, sorry. When
90s.
was the remake?
We're doing the original.
This is the original? We're not doing the remake?
No, that's a GameCube game.
Okay. Then let's just put Resident Evil then.
That works.
I'd have forgotten.
I'm trying to find the weak points here.
I think the fact that it's older, the Resident Evil game, puts 2018 above it. You know, it was like the fanfare with Kratos was immense, and he's cemented even more so now as a like.
You're saying God of War should stay where it is?
Yeah, because Kratos himself, he's Kratos now. They were able to take a character who had diminishing relevance. He was still a big character in video game history, but he was re-cemented with the new game.
He was on his way to being kind of how we view the Crash Bandicoots now.
Yeah.
You know? And now I think Nathan Drake is on his way is on his way there. I think Kratos was further along that path. The prequel game not doing so well really hurt Kratos. But I think 2018, I mean, fucking talk about rebranding and making it work and arguably making it better.
Yeah. I think I'm satisfied with the list right now, where it stands.
Okay. We already had the conversation about Tony Hawk over Silent Hill?
Yeah.
I said that. That's what I said.
But it's Tony Hawk. It's
I'm trying to find where the internet would look at this list and go, what the fuck are you smoking? I think Tekken 3 is the big blind spot here.
It is. Even for me. It's the fighting game. It's the PlayStation fighting game franchise.
Should we revisit a Persona 5 conversation? Does that need to come up or down?
No, it's fine.
If we're talking about quality of game, yes, it deserves to be up above Uncharted 2. But we're talking about PlayStation.
Uncharted 2 is the. I think
Uncharted 2 is more important.
I think Uncharted 2 belongs where it is. I think the list is good where we are.
I agree as well.
We sure we can't sneak Snake Eater into the top 10?
Absolutely positive.
I mean, we could. There's an argument with Spider-Man, but again, PlayStation.
Fuck you.
Hey, honestly, I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
Does MGS2 deserve to be
not top 20?
Not top 20.
Not top 20. No. Okay.
It will be in the next conversation.
Well, yeah.
And
it'll be 20 to 30 for sure.
I might be pushing for 21.
That's a fair argument.
No.
I might.
What are you thinking of, Phil?
I don't know, but we'll have to look at other games. But
Kingdom Hearts 1.
Kingdom Hearts 1 will be.
It's in that 20 to 40 conversation. There's an argument it could be
It'll be
cut.
30 to 40.
Yeah, there's an argument that it could be pushed into part 3 of whatever this would be. You know what I mean? Okay, so the list we have it as of right now: Silent Hill from number 20, Silent Hill 2, number 19, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, number 18, Ghost of Tsushima, number 17, Horizon Zero Dawn, number 16, Uncharted 4, number 15, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, number 14, Kingdom Hearts 2, number 13, The Last of Us Part 2, number 12, Tekken 3, number 11, Metal Gear Solid 3, Snake Eater, number 10, Spider-Man 2018, number 9, Persona 5, number 8, Uncharted 2, number 7, Resident Evil, number 6, God of War 2018, number 5, Shadow of the Colossus, number 4, Bloodborne, number 3, The Last of Us, number 2, Final Fantasy 7, number 1, Metal Gear Solid. Let me just go ahead and as a final thing, are we showing too much bias to new stuff?
My only issue on this entire list is the existence of Zero Dawn. Other than that, no.
And if Zero Dawn leaves, Ghost leaves.
That'd be a willing
I think
exchange.
those are 1 and 1 to me.
That would be a willing exchange I'd make
For what?
to get Zero Dawn out.
Okay, well we still got to fill 20. We still got to fill 20 slots here, Connor. What's going in?
Let's see. Persona 4 I'd put over that before then.
I mean,
MGS2
as a quality of game, yes, but Persona 4 wasn't super
PlayStation.
relevant on the PlayStation 2, at least not in the comparison to 3. And yes, it held the PlayStation Vita on its back, but when the PlayStation Vita is 15 million units sold or whatever the fuck they sold, who cares?
In that case, I would say Metal Gear Solid 2. Funny enough.
Now we're talking. Now we're talking.
And honestly, I think I almost wanted to say Journey. Go back up. Let's see. 10. Uncharted 2.
I'm willing to talk about Uncharted 4 over Horizon or
Also, God of War 2, maybe. With once again,
No,
PlayStation. That was more. That was a more integral moment of where PlayStation was developing itself than Zero Dawn or
Not
Tsushima.
in Horizon, bro.
I-
You're so against Horizon. It's
I'm on-
crazy.
Because the only reason
I don't
Horizon
like
for-
the games.
For this argument specifically, I see both sides. I think we're just closer to Horizon, so Phil and I are favoring Horizon over God of War in that instance. But I do believe when everything is said and done, Horizon will be higher cemented in PlayStation legacy than God of War 2.
I think that's a game that's in the future going to falter with the fact that it's only a big moneymaker being its biggest achievement.
But we're going to talk about a capitalistic society and money not being an important factor in things.
Yeah, because then I'd be arguing for Call of Duty.
I mean,
games.
it's also it's hard to judge popularity. There's no Call of Duty on this fucking list. I think that's.
I think it's
This is the list.
I think that's. Okay, I forgot. Where did I stop? Did I stop or did I hit it all? No, I hit
don't
it all.
know.
Nope, yep.
I hit it all.
You did.
Final Fantasy 7, Metal Gear Solid, number 1. Great top 5.
Great top 10.
Great 6 to 10. Sure, Snake Eater's not in. Not top 10 for sure.
Oh, you're right. I forgot to add the Snake Eater.
It just really hurts to see Snake Eater at 11. It really hurts.
Hey, Tavin.
Because it's so close.
I wouldn't want to put it below Spider-Man, but
I mean, I wouldn't
Below
either, but
Spider-Man.
man, it's fucking Spider-Man.
Mhm.
It's hard to fight that. There's your fucking money argument again.
that's cultural relevance. You can go to a guy in the middle of Africa, and they'll be like, Spider-Man! Oh, they can have a Spider-Man shirt on.
Man, me.
You put
No salt.
Solid
I'm
Snake in
gonna-
the middle of Africa, and they go, the warmonger!
And they're gonna think he's another evil American.
He's kidnapping all our kids.
Yeah, they're gonna think he's horrible.
He did do that. No, not Solid Snake. That's not solid. Anyways.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay. I'm gonna eventually make a nice image, Phil. But we can.
Oh, it's fine.
Yeah.
Bad font, Phil. Why are you using that font?
It's
up something
the one
quick.
that was at the top, dude.
Calibri? Like, what are you calibrating or something?
Not making any. There you go. All right, that's the list. 1 to 20. We will revisit this topic at a later date. Probably not next week. you know,
Space
but
it
at
out.
some point we'll get to 20 to 40. That was fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
And then of course, if you want
Underlining
to see us talk about the greatest video games of all time and rank them amongst each other with a more just like sort of greatest of all time conversation, Two Penny Game Club full playlist on the channel now. We've only done a couple of the games that are on this list. Not as many as we probably should have.
Well,
But you know,
we let the fate decide
we let fate decide on
for the
some.
most part. Mm-hmm.
Can't wait to get to
Can't wait to get to see it. What the best part is, Tavin?
Huh.
Nothing's making me abide by our agreement.
True.
Nothing at all.
Fuck yourself if you want to, buddy.
I can choose whatever I want, so I'm winning either way, Tavin.
You can. Yeah.
It's about fucking you over.
I mean, yeah, but we're still gonna get to Snake Eater before we get to Bloodborne. That's what you're angling for.
No. Many other games out there that I really, really want to play.
Hey, Connor, but you know when it circles back to me, it's gonna be Snake Eater.
It's gonna be Bloodborne.
You think it's wait what?
No, I said he says that we're gonna get to Snake Eater before Bloodborne. But then I was like, no, it's okay because in March I'm gonna pick Bloodborne.
But we're playing them in order.
We gotta be gentlemen on playing them in order, in series order. Gotta be gentlemen on that. Gentlemen, be gentlemen.
I mean, it's a different franchise, but you know.
Okay, you know what? You know what I'm gonna really hate? If I choose Metal Gear Solid 3, and I know he is, and then he chooses MGS4. It's like,
no, the plan was to go all the way to 4.
I know it was.
Yeah.
But I think you would have like some integrity and realize this is kind of a waste. There's better games to play.
No, I want to get to 4.
And
then Metal Gear will go on the back burner for 20 more slots.
Yeah.
Here's my thing. Demon Souls and Dark Souls are not the same franchise. Neither is Bloodborne to Demon Souls and Dark Souls. Those are all 3 different franchises.
Yes, but unfortunately, the From Software legacy is talked about and carried through that arc, and that's the arc that matters, not so much the individual franchises.
Because you're right, Phil, and that's where I originally was just putting certain games in I was putting Dark Souls, Demon Souls, Bloodborne, Sekiro, but I thought it'd be really cool to see the progression of those titles. You know, not only for myself, but for everyone here on the podcast.
And it's like, all right, so we jump to Elden Ring now. And okay, cool, new number 1. Fantastic.
New number one.
It would be.
Like, that's not as fun as talking about it and like having the debate between things that came before. And also it just sucks to see evolution and then go backwards.
Yeah.
You know?
That's why I was
so good.
What's that?
That game's so good.
Oh, it's so amazing. It'll rank high, that's for certain. When it happens.
We're getting multiplayer.
Where the list stands right now, Elden Ring would be in top 3 for sure.
But
it would be number 1.
It would probably be number 1.
That's for another time.
For another time.
All right, that's our top 20 PlayStation games so far. Let us know how wrong we are in the comments. Let us know what your top 20 games is, and you know what do we miss here. I feel like we did a good job of covering all our bases in terms of the PlayStation legacy, and we named all the important names. You know,
it's gonna get a lot harder when like we get to that like 50 like 40 to 60 range, and you know, we got to start thinking about some PlayStation 1 JRPGs that none of us have played.
So we could end. Anyway,
yeah.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out all of our links in the description for all of our social medias. And you know, boys, it's a good episode.
Follow TwoPennyGames on Instagram.
Indeed. Let's say goodbye.
Goodbye, please.